welcome to our special event, The Hidden Cause of Weight Gain and How to Get Rid of It for Good. We're just going to go live on a couple of places.
But we're going to be mainly with you guys over here, so you're going to get the best of us.
Okay, you're not in this one at all.
Oh.
There we go. Now we are? Okay. We're just going to wait for a few people to come in, and then we're going to... Timmy's the first one. How does she do that?
She has all her notifications.
Can you type the hidden causes in there?
Okay. Do I need to do anything?
No, you're okay. Oh, I don't think so. Hey, we're just going to wait for a few more people to come in. I hope I've gone live in all the right places. There's Peter, Charlene. Hey, everybody. We're just going to wait for a few more people to come in before we start to rip. As you come in, if you can say, if you can say hello and where you're Portland, Maryland knows, let me know where you're coming in from. We're doing the hidden causes of weight gain and how to keep it off this time.
Get rid of it for good.
I always think it reminds me of the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and he's looking and he's like, this makes me, because he's doing all these improvs to himself. He's like, and this time I'll keep it off. And then the dog laughs at him. So this time you'll keep it off. The hidden causes of weight gain. Okay, you ready?
Yeah,
okay,
I'm ready.
Live here
we
too.
good?
Yep. Okay.
All right.
So we have a few. You are unable to broadcast. Why? Unless you update to the latest version.
Oh,
okay,
no.
You say hi to my people there and I'll update you.
Hi, everyone over here.
And we're just letting a few more people come in and we're going to start.
We're just getting all of our ducks in a row. So, welcome. Glad you're here. And that you are here for the hidden cause of weight gain and how to get rid of it for good.
This is Kate Austin and I'm Paul Green.
Hi
Charlene. Hi, Elaine. And then once we get going, we're gonna ignore the chat just for a moment. And if you could just keep any side talking to a very minimum while we're doing it, so it's not too distracting, that would be imperscrutabile.
All right.
We're close. We have 99 here, and I'm just waiting for this to update, and then we're good to go. Hello, Freedom Alchemist family over here. Brown Eyed Girl is there. Okay, we're opening and we're going live. Good. So officially, we are starting now, I think. Great. 3, 2, 1,
2,
I think.
1.
Yes, there we go. Okay.
We're live everywhere.
We are. Welcome, everybody, to the hidden causes of weight gain.
And how to get rid of it for good.
Yes, how to keep it off.
Yes.
I'm Paul Green, and
I'm Kate Austin.
Yes, and Kate is. You want to tell them about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a strategic intervention coach trained by Tony Robbins, and I have my master's in NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming. I am obsessed with all things mind and the power of the mind and what you can accomplish when you get everything aligned. You literally can cure disease, you can do all sorts of things. It's just getting alignment. And so I'm the most excited about that, and that's what I do for people. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my name's Paul Green. I started this whole journey sort of from a different perspective, more from vanity. I was a model and did fitness covers, did lots of men's health and men's journal, and was really interested in health and fitness from the outside. And then a little bit later on, my dad got sick with ALS, and we tried to keep my dad alive through many different natural ways. And turns out what happened with my dad was he was a welder for most of his life, and he had heavy metal toxicity and heavy metal poisoning, and it gave him the symptoms of ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And then my dad passed away but from ALS, and during that time we took a deep dive into all things longevity, detoxification, and understanding neurodegenerative diseases, which you've probably noticed are massively
everyone's getting them. It's so normal now to have early onset dementia, MS, Lou Gehrig's, Alzheimer's.
Yep.
It's just cancer. These are just normal things now.
We've just accepted it.
And it's like, why have we just accepted that? Why is that the normal now? Why aren't we going deeper and questioning why suddenly is there an influx in all of those things?
Right.
So that's what we are excited about, because there is a way to combat all of this stuff.
Yes, and then I was so, it turned me on and put me on the path of understanding nutrition that I wanted to learn more. So I got my degree at a functional nutrition degree. And that helped me understand that everybody's bio-individual, and there's that to look at everything from the unique perspective of the individual, not that you go to a doctor and they just give you drugs, and health is a very bio-individual thing. So I have my functional nutrition degree, and I'm just very passionate about helping people and their families not have to go through what we did with my dad and losing him to ALS, and helping people really understand from a complete holistic place how the body works as a system. And I don't want other families to have to go through what we did with my dad. That's for sure. And
over the past few years, we've witnessed thousands of pounds being released, with several individuals releasing 120 pounds for themselves. We have never promoted a strict diet. We aren't a weight loss program. That's not what we've done. But everything that we teach, the main side effect is people just start releasing weight. So we're gonna stay tuned. We're gonna share some of our secrets with you, so that you too can have those sorts of results. So I wanted just to quickly read one of our testimonials of one of our people, Deborah. This was back in May, so she's released even more since then. But she's like, I have released 112 pounds. I have been overweight all of my adult life, and I've tried almost everything to lose weight. And I did lose, but as Paul likes to say, when we lose something, we go and find it. And when I would find it, there would normally be more there than I'd lost. So I'd lose 25, gain 30. I tried almost every fad diet that came along, even some structured diets. I tried diet pills a few times, even tried hypnosis. I'm so glad that I found the real solution with Paul and Kate. So that's one of hundreds of testimonials, but we want to share with you a little bit more of how, the reasons why you might gain a lot of weight, and then how, ways in which to combat that. So if you're with us, you may have been dealing with unwanted weight. Maybe you've tried a few or many different methods yourself and had various success, but ultimately it doesn't get you where you want to be. So if that's you, I want you to sit upright. I want you to be engaged, ready to answer questions in the chat. I want you to turn off your notifications and go somewhere quiet so your family is not going to bug you. So this is an active conversation. Just like weight release, it requires you to be an intentional participant. So let's get ready and go.
Yes. So all weight gain is caused by some form of imbalance in your system, and in your body, your mind, your emotions are all a part of that system. Most people believe it's just from eating too much or from being too lazy on the sofa, and of course those things do add pounds over time, and they can cause significant gains. But there are many other reasons why you gain weight and keep gaining it back, and you release some and then it comes back. And that's what we want to get into today, is the root cause of what causes this to happen. Why is it so difficult for some people to keep a certain level of their weight? And there's 3 things, and there's a bonus one at the end, so stick around. So Kate's going to address the first 3 here.
Okay.
Hidden causes that cause people to gain weight.
So there's 3 major stresses that can create this, and that's the number 1 is chemical, which is your food. Food is so much more toxic than it used to be. Our grandparents and great-grandparents were not dealing with what we deal with in our food these days. So much is processed and just toxic. So you're talking food, alcohol, environment, toxins in your home, in the air, right. The Roundup all over the lawns, in that table water, so we're drinking it, so we're full of glyphosate. So these are unavoidable. They're all around us unless you live on a farm in the middle of nowhere. Still, there's Wi-Fi, there's all things like that. So chemical stresses are a part of life, and it's just learning how to manage those. Now, the second one is physical stressors. So this is a sporting accident, maybe at high school, could be at any time, or a car accident. So when you've had some kind of impact, some kind of physical stress and physical trauma, these can contribute to weight gain that's rarely addressed. Now, the biggest one is emotional trauma. And that's what we like to tap into. This is never really addressed when you look at weight loss programs or diets or anything like that. And this can be caused from the death of a loved one, a big breakup, sexual abuse, abuse of any kind of trauma that leaves emotional scarring. Now, the last one, if not processed or worse, ignored, is the biggest reason people lose control of their weight gain. And no matter what they do, nothing they do is effective. And that will cause you to comfort eat or binge eat or even eat, and it doesn't matter what you eat, you're still gaining weight anyway. And it's your body's protective mechanism trying to keep you safe. You know, the body is built extraordinarily, but in this case, while it's trying to keep you safe, it doesn't realize it's actually endangering your health further, because the more weight we put on, the more open to disease and much more chronic issues become apparent in our life. So it's one of those systems in the body that if overused, if the imbalance is there, it's gonna tip it the wrong way, and it's actually gonna create inflammation, pain, and disease along the way.
Right. And so everyone's affected by chemical stressors. That's just a given. But so put in the chat here if you're watching right now. Put number 2 if you had some form of physical trauma, and put a 3 if you've had some emotional trauma. And you'll be surprised.
Most people have experienced both of them, you know. So just let us know. There's something really that sticks out to you of like, put 2s and 3s for you. Here we go.
There it is.
A lot of emotional trauma coming up there. Yep.
2s and 3s, 2s and 3s. And stay tuned, because in a little bit we'll share ways that you can approach each of these stressors with something that you can take action on right away. We're not going to leave you hanging. Yeah. You will have, for all 3 of those stressors, and even the 4th bonus one, we're going to give you a few actions that you can take
right away and really start to shift the hold that these stresses might have on you and impacting you with weight gain.
Yes. And just to be totally upfront with you, at the end of this conversation, we will be making an offer to you. So there's going to be an opportunity to work with us on one of our year-long intensive programs. So we just want to make sure you know that that's coming, and really dig in here, put away your phone, and really listen for something to see if this is something that could be that thing that gets you from where you are now to your dream outcome. Like that our program will be able to help you bridge that gap and move you to your dream outcome.
Now, some of you have experienced some kind of an emotional trauma that was so traumatic, usually happening when you're a child, that you've actually blocked it from your memory. So if suddenly you find that, you know, something triggers you, which makes no sense whatsoever, like someone just comes and you've never met them, but something in the recess of your mind remind you of someone that did something that was traumatic to you, or it can be anything like that. So if you have some kind of sabotage, triggers, things that are really traumatic, your brain protects you by blocking it out. But these traumas are huge reasons that so many gain weight and continue to gain weight without knowing why. So there's things that we know, and there's things that we don't know, and there's things that we don't know. So one of these deep traumas falls into the category of what we don't know.
It's because a blind spot.
It's because the subconscious is trying to protect us, which is our creature brain, trying to protect us from that trauma. But if we're not present to it and we're not aware of it, and it keeps tripping us up and making us blow up our life or mess things up for ourselves, then it's something that needs to be uncovered at some point so that you can move through it. So the thing is, as humans, we are fluid, right? We're continuously changing, even if we don't think we are. We are. Every day we grow a little bit older. You know, things change in our bodies and our mind, and if we aren't growing, we're dying. So if we don't actually deal with the traumas, if we don't actually if we're not willing to look at what might be in the way and holding us back from everything that we want in our life and for having peak optimal health and feeling extraordinary and full of energy, then those traumas will manifest into something much scarier than weight gain. And that's usually totally unfavorable, right? So you want to be willing to get a little uncomfortable to then be free. So, and you don't want to be putting your life at risk just because you don't want to face something that's scary. And listen, traumas can be scary, but nobody gets out of this life without having them. You're not alone. I feel a lot with this. So many people are so locked in shame and guilt because of something that happened to them that was not their fault, and they swallow it and they hide it, and that's when it manifests into something that they shouldn't have to deal with, because usually it was inflicted on them in the first place. And and now they're going to get a disease because they're so shameful of it, they don't want to share it. So we want to dig. So this is one of the main things of this webinar, is looking at this particular aspect of how we gain weight from emotional things, because it's not spoken about. You can't fix it with a diet. You actually have to do the work around it. So when we discover symptoms with something, which the medical industry will try and treat and relieve those symptoms, that isn't actually what we need, right? What we need, what that does is masks the problem, because those triggers are like, something's wrong here, you need to pay attention here. But so if we're masking the problem, then we're not being present to what's going on, and then eventually the bigger problem will come in. So those warning systems are for you to tune in and pay attention. We need to discover why those symptoms are occurring and get to the root cause of them, not try and treat the symptoms, right?
And what's so important with what you just said is, you could restrict your calories, right? And for a minute you might start to drop weight, but we're talking about what is that root cause thing that causes you to keep sabotaging yourself. There's a biological side to weight release as well, but so many people, we're looking at the things that cause you to blow it up. Like we're looking for the emotional triggers that it cause you to not be able to do what you say you're going to do, and cause you to eat when you know you should be like fasting or whatever. And speaking of root causes, my dad, because my dad was a welder, and the doctors we went to with my dad to go see, they were just like, well, try to live as well as you can for 2 to 5 years. And we wanted to understand more. We wanted to go see a natural doctor and get to the root cause. And we found out that my dad, being exposed to cigarettes and heavy welding, he just, we were grinding. I was grinding and making cattle fences with my dad from the littlest age with no masks, like nothing covering from all the tiny little metals. So my dad, when we checked his heavy metals, was unrecognizable on the charts. His heavy metals were so high. And my dad had an injury in his back that caused, because heavy metals will hide in your bone marrow. And when my dad injured himself, all those metals released into the blood, out of the bone marrow, into the nervous system, and the nervous system started to shut down. And so we wanted, it's so important to deal with these root causes, because my dad has symptoms of ALS. Like, it's not like ALS gave my dad this disease, and we wanted to understand where did it come from. And that's one thing, to become really curious with yourself, rather than a doctor saying, here's a pill, or we're going to cut that out, to start treating your body like a garden instead of a machine.
You need some water and some fertilizer. You might need to move this so the sun shines through. You remove a blockage to let some sun in. So that's how we want to start looking. And we want to look at. Sorry, 1 second. We want to look at everything before there's a big problem.
Right, of course.
We want to like open it up so we are in preventative space, not reacting to something really scary. Like, hey, you've got 2 years to live. Do the best you can.
And that's what this year program with us is, a year of prevention. And one of the doctors that we're working with, that we have detoxes with has had actually success curing ALS with some of his nutrition and his detox protocols. So had we discovered this pathway, we could have helped my dad, 10 years ago or 15 years ago to go, oh, you've been exposed to, a lot of metals.
This is the way to remove it. So, and so with me, so many of my sessions with clients, because neurolinguistic programming, if you don't know what it is basically, if I'm able to tap in with you and have your creature brain feel really safe, your subconscious will start talking to me in ways of facial gestures and things like that, and it'll start giving me indications of what's going on a deeper level. So even if you don't know, your subconscious can know, and I can garner from your breath, your facial expressions, your body, what's actually going on. So and it's so often when I'm dealing with this subconscious, these deep hidden traumas will come up. And often when they come up, that person's like, I haven't ever shared this with anyone, or I'd forgotten that memory, or things like that. But it's not super traumatic, even if that event was traumatic. It's that's a bit prequel to our secret bonus.
That's a prequel to our bonus reason of why people put on weight and keep putting it back on, the hidden cause of weight loss or weight gain.
Yeah. Now a major one.
Yeah, one of the major ones is we're always living in fear. So whether it's the news or it's your neighbor or it's just the music you listen to or the radio, it's a constant barrage of fear. But like our ancestors would have to worry about a bear or a saber-toothed tiger chasing them. So they are in this fight or flight. So our ancestors had to be in fight or flight constantly just to survive. And now, when you're in fear constantly, stress hormones like cortisol and norepinephrine, they rise, and to prepare you to run. But what happens when that happens is your immune system goes in the toilet, because all of your blood and your energy goes to your arms and your legs to have you outrun this saber-toothed tiger. But there is no saber-toothed tiger. But
no, it's like emails or an issue with a family member, or you can't stand your boss. Like, these are so tiny in comparison to a saber-toothed tiger chasing you, right?
Yeah, and it's all the news is priming you. Your emails or your notifications are priming you into this fear response, and you're always in fight or flight. And we don't have these techniques, or some of you do, to allow you to move into rest and digest, out of fight or flight. We're always in that stressor, always with cortisol ripping and norepinephrine ripping, and many folks don't have the tools to push yourself, allow yourself to relax into rest and digest, and some breathing exercises, some movement exercises, some ways of letting it go and giving up your right to be right. There's certain things that will move you out of that constant tiger is chasing me. And
just for a little bit of context, apparently we process the same amount of bytes of information in one day as what 100 years ago someone would process in their entire lifespan. So that is why these stressors are like blah, 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 like constant, right?
That's a great point.
And so if you do not actively, intentionally pursue things like turning off new notifications, switching off from the news, not looking at your phone the second you wake up, like, there has to be this intentionality of priming yourself so you get to be proactive in your day instead of reactive. That reactiveness is that fight or flight that will happen all day long, and everyone's exhausted from sitting at the computer all day. You weren't running from a saber-toothed tiger all day. You were sitting at your computer.
Your body really doesn't know the difference. Your nervous system is still, somebody like trolls you on your Twitter or trolls you on your Facebook, in that same feeling of like, I'm going to be thrown out of the tribe. I'm going to be tossed and die. And so we're again in that fight or flight. No wonder everybody has cancer. No wonder everybody is sick with diabetes and all of these neurological disorders. So
animals shake it off, right?
Yeah, if you see a deer get chased by a cheetah or whatever, if it escapes, it doesn't go all day, oh man,
I need to eat a lot because I just escaped a saber-toothed tiger.
What a day I had.
I need to eat all my comfort foods.
It doesn't focus on the past and start like being a victim. It'll just shake it off. And so there's actually some pretty cool processes where you can just, if
Shake
no
it
one's
off.
around, just get in your bed and start shaking, and you will feel better. You'll shake off some of the fear matter off your body. So we also want to give you some actionable steps that you can take from this webinar today and how you can start healing some of these root causes.
Yeah. So number one, so everyone pay attention. This is the actionable steps you can take to go into your life and start removing some of these toxins. Okay. So number one, the chemical stresses, which we are all dealing with, right? Because there's no way out. So that would be to do a detox, right? With food being so toxic, tap water toxic, and we shower in it, we drink it, all of these, people drink plastic crappy bottles from Costco, like that are filled with toxins. The everyday norm is just a toxic soup. Yet nobody, and we should do at least 2 detoxes a year. Most people have never even done one. Right. Or if it's like, I'm just going to cut out sugar for a minute, like for a few days. No, that's not a detox. A detox is when you completely do elimination, you remove everything, you flood your body with nutrients so that your body can get back to a place of homeostasis. So number one is a detox. Now, not all detoxes are created equally. Not all detoxes are going to do that. So you got to go deep into what resonates with you, I guess, at the beginning. So that you're trying, but please, you got to look at this like you wouldn't ever continue to drive your car and never put oil in it and expect it the engine to blow at some time. Yet you expect that of your body. You don't cleanse it, fill it with good nutrients, all of that stuff, and then get on your merry way. No, you just run it until it's dead, and then you're like, how did I get this disease? It's
right.
Well, what do you think? You
a lot of people do that with their cars.
You're not present to this extraordinary body that wants to heal, that wants to be in a place of health, because you're just running it ragged. Right. Okay. So that's number one. And it's non-negotiable because of the toxic soup that we all live in these days.
Right.
It's not what our grandparents had. It's different. So you have to do it.
That's right.
Number two.
Well, that's why we do a guided detox throughout the year. We have several detoxes for you to do. So
that you have your handheld. The detoxes we do are intensive. We are here, our program is to completely reverse all disease and reverse your age, so that by the end of you give us 1 year, we're going to give you 10 to 20 years back. So the detoxes we do are much more intensive, but sometimes you need your hand held a little bit through those ones, which is why we've chosen an intensive one, why we do that one. But tomorrow, you can go and start Googling and start looking at different detoxes and see what resonates with you the most. Not the easiest one. Don't do it because it's easy, but what resonates with you, and go ahead and do that if you want to action something right away after this talk.
Yeah. And the second solution here is the physical trauma. So we're both big advocates for acupuncture and also chiropractic work, and they're not always created equally. They're so it's important that you read the reviews really carefully, and choose a doctor or an acupuncture or a chiropractor. These are all preventative things that used to be common until the pharmaceutical and the oil companies took over, the FDA and the Drug Administration, and turned them into quackery. So many of the things that are alternative used for thousands of years, some of these practices,
especially chiropractic,
and now it's just petroleum-based little pills. That's
It
not.
would be good for a machine.
It might be good for a machine,
body, right?
Not for this garden of a body. So you can. One of the important things to look at with chiropractic is subluxation. I go twice a week, and I'm a healthy person, and I do it for prevention, but also, I weight train and I exercise very regularly, and sometimes your nerves can get pinched
Anything.
And then that, all along your spine, it's all connected to your organs. And so there's just a beautiful practice around chiropractic care, and also acupuncture that can be preventative, but can also help you if you're in a lot of pain or you're having trouble sleeping. And if you have foggy head, if you have really unclear, like foggy brain, and sometimes you get an adjustment and immediately you can start seeing clear again. So that's some of the physical trauma can be cured. If you've been in a car wreck, there's a lot of things you can look into. Egoscue is another thing we love that for restructuring. Pete Egoscue.
I want to share a quick story around chiropractic.
Yeah.
That was with our son, Austin, who's, a baby still. I was never really into chiropractic. I thought they were just like, they're just cracking bones. And I have a body that doesn't really, I don't feel a lot of pain. So I was never really into it. I didn't really totally agree with it. But Austin had a big fall when he was quite young, and he really bumped his head. And right away, his personality changed. He suddenly was like whingy and whiny and cranky. And this is like this kid that's normally just a ray of sunshine. And so we went to a chiro that we were seeing and he was like, he's really out, but you have to book in to for me to see him. And it's like, we're right here, but okay. So we went to our other chiropractor that Paul goes to every single week. And he adjusted him. So it was a day and a half where he was just not himself, not who he was.
We're like,
yeah,
and the shoe fell.
Yeah, and then right after the adjustment, immediately back. Immediately. He was really out because he'd really banged his head. And so that was when I shifted. Because then I think about all of these kids that have like personality, like they're aggressive or angry or like really naughty, and everyone starts putting them on ADD medication when really maybe all they need is an adjustment of their spine. They just need everything, all their nervous system communicating, so then they can be exactly who they are, not this other version that's like just not quite wired right.
Yeah. And so their communication system of the nervous system gets pinched and tweaked like a faucet on a hose. Like when you tweak when you take a faucet and water can't get through it, there's no power. Sometimes a chiropractic adjustment feels like that. And there's some really powerful modalities out there for you if you've had physical trauma. You don't have to be in pain or just take medication. It just takes you being curious and trying a few things and being in tune and touch with your body. So that you can actually start to feel, is this good for me? And then you're connected to it.
Just on that, I want to share a quote that really drives us, and what we really stand by. And it was done by Thomas Edison, and it is: the doctor of the future will give no medication, but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, diet, in the cause and prevention of disease with nutrition. So he had the foresight back then. It was normal back then. It wasn't quackery. And this is one of the men of like the most famous inventors of our time. And this was his vision. So we are so committed to that vision. We truly believe that you get everything aligned, naturally, your body will heal. You don't need to cut and do it. And listen, we are totally for the medical industry. They are extraordinary, and they and if you have an accident, like you want Western medical doctors, absolutely. So this is not anti any of that. We are just more for preventative measures and new ways of curing disease, rather than thinking that it's the other way, which is usually quite aggressive, and it's like your body's a machine, not a garden. So,
So you can go at this alone.
No.
You jumped down there?
I jumped down there.
Well, are you sure?
So the third thing, which is really important, is the emotional trauma, right? So this can be multi-layered and require time invested to complete the healing. But the first step that you can take tomorrow, today, tonight, to start to heal is to be able to talk about it in a safe space where you will not be judged or not looked at with pity. You don't want someone that's just going to be like, oh, someone that's so hard, or like, no, you don't want that. You want someone that you can share it with and they can just be with you, and then not look at you any differently because of what happened to you, right? So if you have someone like that, or you have a community or a group, then being able to share and be vulnerable and when we say something, we move it. It's no longer has the grip on us as if we're squashing it down and being ashamed or feeling guilty about it. Mm-hmm. So we say it, we can move it. So that's something that you can take away right away, being able to share that no one gets out of this life without trauma.
Yeah, or alive.
Or alive. We're all going to die. So, and the trauma can actually be a powerful motivator if it's handled correctly, and you make and will make you more powerful and more connected to yourself and others. And if it's not handled correctly, you will fall victim to it, and it can completely consume you. And I've seen that happen with so many people. Their anger, their unforgiveness, their hatred just consumes them, and they're such a victim to life. But it's like, so many other people have experienced a trauma just as great, maybe greater, and yet they can rise from it. Right. So we always have the choice, but you need to be in an environment to be able to set you up so you have a container to be able to rise from that. So finding that personal place where it's normalized to share deep pains in order to free it and move it through the body is absolutely essential. So
this is why that's why community is so important. And all, in all the blue zones around the world, which is the places where people live to have the most centenarians, over 100 years old, the number one thing is longevity, ahead of diet, ahead of fitness. And so we understand the importance of having a powerful community, and in the community has the people there that will be a stand for your greatness and not indulge you in your victim or your weakness and things, and they'll be listening for your greatness and pulling you forward rather than pushing you down. And we don't allow complaining or gossip to be at the central conversation. So our community and the year program that we do has a really powerful community aspect to it.
That's one of our biggest successes, is come from our community. That's true. Anyone that's in our community right now, shout out and share some stories about, we have people that like from different countries start traveling the world together, doing all sorts of, like, they've created a space where they feel safe and they feel heard, and it's made them more self-confident, more powerful, more adventurous. So having that community is one of the keys to our success, because it just really propels people into what's possible. When you start seeing someone else doing something you thought was impossible, you're like, well, if they can do it, why can't I do it? So it really is that wonderful way of just like growing. And that's why, all the centurions, all of the blue zones around the world, number one is community. It's not diet, it's community. So that's the biggest, one of the biggest things.
Do you want to share that story?
Yeah, actually,
this is just the power of community, and also its effect on someone. This is part two. I had to restart your thing.
Oh, whoops. Yeah. Okay. I saw it was going in and out. So if anyone on these, if we're not looking at you, it's because we're looking at the main one, but we didn't want to like you to miss out on anything. So one of our clients actually, this is the power of being able to share something that's really painful. One of our clients actually shared that she had been raped. And, this is a topic so many people create so much shame and hide from, and because they don't want anyone to know. But it's insane how many people have been affected in the same way. So people are not alone, and they need to be able to communicate through it without it being some weird taboo thing that people don't know how to handle. So anyway, this particular client, she shared this, and when she started with us, her skin was gray. She was looked like terrified. There was this energy to her, and as she shared and we moved through it, and we were able to help her, guide her through the different various layers of grief and pain and anger and all those sorts of things, she started to blossom, and her skin color changed, and she lit up, and she was almost agoraphobic. So, and she started going out, and she started tackling the pain head on, and the community gave her the strength to look at things she never wanted to look at again, and to move through them from the perspective of who she is today, not who she was when it happened to her. And then the most extraordinary thing happened. She happened to be in a situation where she just came upon a girl that had just gone through a similar situation to what she went through, a younger girl. She was able to take her to the hospital, be with her, and be a guiding light for her, and hold a container and a space for this poor girl that had just experienced what she had. Now, if she had that person be there for her back then, maybe things wouldn't have gotten so painful and hard for her throughout her life. But the healing that happened because she got to be there for that person, tenfolded her healing. And had she not done the healing, being in that situation would have been far too confronting for her to be of any help or use to that person. But because she'd done the work, because she shared, because she opened up to her community, that's what happened. And now she is on adventures all the time. She has tons of friends in the group. They do lots of fun things, and she's just lit up on life. So that's just the power of community, the power of being able to share in a safe space and move through those tough conversations.
And she really also took some of the coaching around everything you want is outside of your comfort zone. So we weren't going to let her stay in the spot where her past had lived before. After applying some of these strategies above here and so many more, we've seen countless former students and people in our program still that make such massive changes in really incredibly short amounts of time. And we were never a weight loss or weight release program to begin with, but this just seems to be the main thing that people release once they get their past out of their future.
Yeah. And nobody's addressing that with weight loss. Nobody's addressing it. And so
cut calories and
it was almost a mistake, but that's something that we wanted to focus on. But as a focus, people just fat just melted away because their body no longer needed to protect them. Yeah.
And that's that leads us to our bonus hidden cause of weight loss, weight release, as promised. So our fourth hidden cause of massive weight gain is from many folks out there is that here's something interesting. Those of you who know us may recognize it, but it's something that you have to hear over and over again. That for most folks, their past is actually in their future. And let me explain that a little bit. So something happens to us in our past, and someone calls you a name, or God forbid, looks at you a little bit sideways or calls us a name, and we make it mean something, right? We make a whole story about that moment, and then you keep telling.
And give us an example. Someone called you fatty boomsticks when you're at school.
Or you're the shy, even as little as you're the shy one, or you're big boned, or whatever. And you can make a whole story about it, and then you create a story, and then you tell that story over and over again, and then over time it becomes your identity, and you actually think that it's you, when it's often just a survival mechanism that you've invented to help you get through something in the past, but it ain't you.
It ain't you, babe.
And so with us, you'll have a chance and an opportunity to get complete with your past or the story that you've made up about your past, and then truly invent and create and design, be the architect and visualize a future that you will actually love and live into, and have people around you cheering you forward into that vision and holding you accountable to your best. You are not your past.
You are not. And you don't have to spend your life trying to avoid some painful situation that happened to you as a child, right? We can move through it and get empowered by it.
That's right.
And realize that identities, one of the cool things we teach is every single person that knows you knows a different version of you than you know.
Yep.
So you are under no requirement to be the same person that you have created that you think you are, because everyone has a different version. And if you know hundreds of people, there's hundreds of versions of you out there.
So which one are you?
So who do you get to be? You get to choose. And that's why when people travel or something, they totally become someone new,
or something.
You know, because it's like, nobody knows me, I can be whoever I want. No, that's the you that you get to be whenever you want in your environment. It's sometimes harder in your own environment. This is why we focus on environment a lot and removing toxicity and creating environment, so you get to step into that person you want to be. But it's like, it's just it's so cool. And this is how our mind is so powerful, how we can move mountains with a belief. Everything is belief. Ooh, so cool. So excited. Woo, woo, woo.
So you could try to go at this all by yourself. You could Google everything we just shared with you, or longevity or weight loss, which you've probably done. And if you're diligent, you'll probably get some results.
You will.
But with
diligency,
if you're diligent, you'll get some level of result for sure. But without the expertise and accountability, it will take you a lot longer, and it won't be as fun. And here's the thing: this year of prevention, whatever it costs is peanuts compared to what, let's say, liposuction costs, or even what the
if you have
cost,
heart surgery,
or even dementia. ALS is $350,000 a year. Like, the cost of health in the future versus like an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of what it would cost you later. So it's so important that if you could, like I said, go after this alone, or you could do it that's the hard way, or you could do it the easy way, which is have somebody hold your hand a little bit.
And so one of the frustrations we've had over this past half decade of really helping people with their life and their health is that we could see what people needed to do and we would share it, but if they didn't care about it as much, or they felt scared or didn't know what to do, they wouldn't take the advice or take things on in the way that it needed to be taken on. And so we were like, how do we create something where we guarantee results, where we know you are going to come out at the end of the year completely changed, like releasing all the weight, reversing disease, reversing your age. Like, how do we create that? Like, that's what we're excited about now. And so we really, we're so committed to the results that we do have a guarantee in there. So if you don't get your results, you get your money back. Pretty cool, right? So we designed this program geared towards bio-individual needs. Now, no other program we know is doing this, right? Everyone's like, one size fits all, here you go. And that's why this diet works for Dana, doesn't work for Diana. Like, what's happening? We're doing the same thing because you're bio-individually different. So this is a program where we start with, we get your blood results, 108 biomarkers, read by the #1 functional medicine team in America right now. That's how we understand what your bio-individual needs need. Your kidney needs some attention here. We need to look at this. We need to create some methylation over here. You need to up this vitamin. So it's a way of really understanding that. And so we have that doctor's team with us that we've partnered with, so that you can get those bio-individual needs. And then the deep detoxes, which we will take you through. We also have care packages, loot that arrives at your house every day, like all the time you progress to a certain level. So it's really interactive, really fun. No one can be left behind because you have to pass evaluations and do things, and there's immediate requests for coachings. There's all sorts of things. So it's really well thought out and really based on you. On what you personally need for your life, your goals, your dreams. There's neuro-linguistic programming and meditations so that you can reprogram your mind to be geared toward what you want.
And there's weekly live coaching in a unique format, so you can bring your main concern and get actual coaching on it.
And a loving community that's like rooting for you to succeed.
This isn't for just anyone.
No, it's not.
It's not for everybody.
Sorry to like dangle it and be like.
And well, first of all, you have to be in the United States for now to get the package, or to get the blood work sorted in the detoxes.
And all the products and all the biohacking, all the things that we send you.
But if you're outside of America, please reach out to us, because we could probably have
We'll figure something out in time, but for now it's America based. Yeah.
There's a little bit more to that one there.
Okay.
So if you are somebody who's committed to brimming with health and life force and vitality, and you are somebody who wants it, then you are in the right
Releasing
place.
all your weight fast and healthily and fast without being tormented.
And you see the value in really committing to yourself for a year, and and gaining 10 to 20 years on the back end. That's our promise. And most people are very afraid of that last few moments of their life, whether it's a week, month, year, few years, or 10 years. Some people, they're like, and we want to create a way that you can have power around your aging and self-expression and freedom, rather than just being terrified of the end. We're going to give you in this year power.
And I just want to, there's a bunch of people saying, oh, I'm in Canada. Listen, Canada's pretty close. You could drive across or you can fly pretty easily. So if you can
row your canoe.
row your canoe. If you can get into America pretty quickly, twice, because you get blood tests at the beginning and 6 months later. If you can get to America twice within a year, then you can do this program. We're not going to cut you out of it. That's the same with Europeans and everyone else, but it is a bigger commitment. Canada's a hop, skip, and a jump away. You can get a cheap flight and things like that. So that is an option for Canadians. We're not cutting you out, but it is going to require you to travel to the States for those things.
Yeah. Okay.
So no amount of money in the world matters if you don't have your health, right?
That's
Just
right.
ask Steve Jobs.
Right.
I mean, if he was around, right?
If you were on your deathbed and you were about to die and a doctor came in and said, here's a pill that will extend not just the quality, but also the quantity of your life by 10 to 20 years, how much would you pay for that? And what would that be worth to you? I mean, if you've ever been really, really sick and you're in that moment, you're like, I don't care about anything but feeling better and feeling vitality and energy. Right.
Totally. And there's nothing in the market like this that we know of anyway, that's going to look at your body like a garden, look at those three stresses. We're going to work out the chemical first, then the physical, then the emotional. We're going deep into all of it, all of these things that people should know that don't know on the common market. That I can go deep into that. But anyway, that's a whole thing. I won't. So there's no one else doing this that's like this intensive that's going to go here. Now, someone mentioned we should put the link up so if anyone wants
we
to,
could probably put the link so you can go and but we're not.
And we're still going to keep going, but you can just fill out a form and get onto open up to get on a discovery call with us. But someone was asking where in the US, anywhere in the US.
Yeah, and New York State always has some issues with certain things, so.
Yeah, but
I might have to drive to Jersey or have a friend in Jersey.
But yeah, so it doesn't matter where you are in the US. You don't have to travel to California or travel somewhere near us. It's America wide, and everything will come to you or be close to you, so that you don't have to worry about any of that.
Yeah, and if you are interested, and you can book a discovery call with one of our team to find out more, but only do it if you're 1,000% serious about really stepping into this path. Like, really, if you're either have so much pain that you're like, I want out of this pain, or you see that this is a great year of giving me 10 to 20 years of health span, not just lifespan. If you feel so, then go ahead, and there's only a few spots left to book a call with us. So there will be a form you fill out though, and we'll be able to manage the number in the next week or so.
Yeah, and so you'll get onto a discovery call. So we'll discover, us or one of our team will discover where you are now, what you're really wanting to create, what your pain points are, and then if it's a good fit for you. It's not for everyone.
It's not a good fit for everyone.
So we'll say this isn't really the right thing for you, or if it is, then we move on to a strategy session where we'll strategize a bit more before being like, okay, yeah, let's go for it, or let's not go for it. Either way. So yeah, if there's any questions, let us know. I think Ruth just popped up the link. So Ruth, if you want to just keep popping, if you see Ruth's name, just click on that link, because that's going to lead you to the forum where you can book in for that call with us. In the meantime, we wanted to, if anyone has any awesome testimonials on here that's been with us, we would love to hear it and read it out. Like, so little we'll do the bragging for you, but anyone that's got some great testimonials, please shout out, let us know, and I'm going to read out a couple while you guys are clicking on the link and checking it out.
Beth says that she's had so much trouble with this aging thing, this stupid aging thing. It sounds like the thing for me. I know aging is such a, it really does take a lot of people out. There's so much fear and there's so much marketing around it, and I feel like what's been really missing and lost is we used to really take care of our elders, like there was wisdom. We would live with them. Now folks are you're sent into a home and
let's not look at it. It's like uncomfortable for me to look at this aging person. And
so you want to have some power around the last half of your life, and really understand where you're headed.
And we're so committed to redefine what aging is.
That's right.
Like, you can be 95 and full of energy, doing the splits, lifting weights. We've seen it. It's possible. And it doesn't matter where you are right now. You can have that. It might take you a bit longer if you've got a lot of ailments or a lot of issues. Yeah, it just takes a little bit longer to get your body back to homeostasis, but you can do that and then thrive and be fitter than you've ever been, musclier than you've ever been, stronger than you've ever been. All of that is possible. So we want to redefine what it is to age, and to age powerfully and feel like sexy and fabulous and wonderful. So that's what we're committed to. So I want to read a couple of testimonials. If anyone's sharing. Okay. Neva says, down over 100 pounds 2 years later. This course has far exceeded my expectations. I've learned so much about myself, both physically and emotionally. Yes, the sugar addiction has been forever broken. That's one.
Julie Carpenter's on here. You had me so excited, and hopefully after our first call. I love that, Julie. We're so excited that you're doing this with us.
Yay, Julie! She's one of our new teammates. Cecile says, to date I've lost 62 pounds and I won't stop there. I have regained my confidence and fully assume who I am. Donna is like, this course has changed my life since I went into not thinking it would change my appearance. Since October 2020, here I am, 90 pounds, released forever. I eat healthy and clean foods now. I can walk further and faster and more swiftly. I no longer dread and detest or am ashamed of seeing what I see when having my picture taken or looking in the mirror. For the first time in many years, I feel good and proud of myself. I am very happy and impressed with me. How cool!
Charlene says, after several losses, this program has helped her get rid of the victim ID and then replace it with gratitude, and she released 40 pounds. With the average of, there's so many people that have released 40, 60, 80, 110.
So
a lot of it is just letting go. Kathleen is joining. There we go.
Yeah.
Kathleen. So much of it is letting go of the past, not just dragging it along forever, so that then the things will work, like reducing your, understanding how your body burns calories. That stuff works once you've got the thoughts, beliefs, and emotions online as well.
I'm going to also...
Lindy's here too. Awesome, Lindy. Yeah, freedom-alchemist.com.
So if you go on there, a pop-up will happen and it'll go straight to the form that we're sending you.
Right. And for you on TikTok and Instagram, it's freedom-alchemist.com. If you were looking for a link, you don't have to look any longer. freedom-alchemist.com. And an alchemist is somebody who turns something of lesser value into greater value, like Jesus turning water into wine. And you will become an alchemist, where you will be able to convert you'll be able to turn the story you made up into something really beautiful, your pain into your power.
Susan here just said she released at 65 pounds. Susan.
And I love that she just didn't lose it, because if you lose it, you're going to go find it. So good job, Susan.
And then Dawn said, I've had the joyful experience of Kate and Paul's coaching. After enduring 5 years of a chemo pill after cancer, my health and vitality were restored in addition to positive major life changes with us. So, yay! We are totally committed that your body wants to heal, and we know lots of ways in which it can heal. So
that's right.
That's what we're
and whatever this costs, you will spend that amount of money on something this year. So you actually get an opportunity to look at your life, and there's payment plans, there's all these things. Look at, what does feeling the best you've ever felt in your life, what is it worth to you? Look at that. And people put their money into, they waste money on so many things, and where the only place, and if it's with us, great, but the only place you should be spending money is on prevention, so that you can move this beautiful temple of yours around for many, many years. It's like taking care of your car. So if you're not taking care of your car, it's going to break down. If you're not taking care of your body, and it will break down. So
it's just a matter of time.
If it's not with us, please use what we just shared with you and take action on it.
Do it.
And if you do want to work with us, we'll take really good care of you. You'll be in great hands, and it'll be the best year you've ever had.
Paula is saying, I've seen more power in my life the past few years than I had in so long. Paula's one of our peeps.
That's awesome, Paula. You sure have.
Yeah.
People just look younger when they give up the right to be right.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's beautiful. They release this like stress on their face, because they're like, oh, I don't have to be right all the time.
I always say you can be right, or you can have love. You know, all those people that are righteous and right about everything. Does anyone want to be around them? No.
They probably don't even want to be around themselves that much, which is...
Just get me away. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, I think that completes our time together. If you're watching this, go to freedom-alchemist.com. There will be a pop-up. You can book a call, and then we'll do a discovery session to discover if this is for you. But please only book that if you're 100% committed.
Ready to take something new on, like ready to go for it.
Yep.
You know, it's
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Please share and all that fun stuff if you can, and we love you so much. Okay.
Bye.
I'm going to end this. We had so many buttons to push. Bye.
See you later. Oh, I don't know how to end it.
Just clap. Bye, you guys. This is our first live on Freedom Alchemist.
Ooh.
So